Okay, so over the past few years, I've been contribute and volunteering to this project. It's called Legend Design System by Telkom. I was more volunteering and handling to the web UI components and doing some research in accessibility aspect. In today's session, I would like to share with you all those experiences, how to make web better with the accessibility aspect. So bear with me in this talk and let's get started. Hello everyone. Selamat pagi. Good morning. Okay. How are we doing? Still good? I'll make it quick because I see maybe you can not wait for the lunch. I promise I'll make it quick. My name is Raihan Nismara. I'm seasoned web engineer from Indonesia. Currently working as front-end engineer at VT Labs, is blockchain company provider headquartered in Singapore. We're working with the Web3 things, etc., tokenizing asset. Previously, I worked for half sector private public governments is under Telkom Indonesia. As previous I mentioned before, I do like little content creation as well. If you like to connect with me, feel free to connect with me. I'm so happy if you did so. So, before we jump into the main course today, how like to measure, how to test our application inside and outside the scope of the application, we need to understand first what is the accessibility, what the aspect, and how later on we can see in the live code how we test it inside and the scope side of the application in unit testing. So first thing first, what is the accessibility? So accessibility is mean when you build something in your web, when you design, when you're tooling, so that everyone can use, can navigate, can interact, even contribute to the web itself. Just like in real life, accessibility is really helpful. For example, in real life, we can see when it means for disabled people, it's always benefiting everyone else. The story of the curb cut is actually originally from the World War in America back then. It was meant for people with have physical disability, but right now, if you have like stroller, if you have bike with you, you can just go easy with see in the curb cut, the sidewalk in the middle. Next things about the the voice navigation in your maps. It was actually inspired back in past years ago. It was inspired from the talking calculator was meant for vision with people with vision disability, vision problem. And the same things as like subtitles, transcript, etc. It's really benefiting everyone else right now. If you had like meeting boring, you can just see the content without getting sound in your phone or something. You can just turn on the caption, right? For now, this day. And then, so we need to understanding how actually user navigating the website before we talking about how the strategy to make web more accessible. The first one, people will have two ways how they navigating. First, using the assistive technology, and the second one using the adaptive strategy. When we're talking about the assistive technology, we're talking more to the hardware, to the software, etc. In the adaptive strategy, we're talking about how we offers our application to make it better with the users, etc. But sometimes, if we see in real life, in the field, in the wild field, there's the problem that we see. The first is lack of keyboard accessibility. right? In the wild field right now, people with physical disabilities may not have getting about the keyboard accessibility because right now the web is normally is not fully support accessible for the keyboard, and then the focus order, lack of missing focus order, etc. Other thing is for physical and visual disabilities, it's the same thing. Like with they have the keyboard accessibility, lack of keyboard accessibility, lack of visible focus, and the focus order. The same thing as well for people and visual disabilities. Maybe the additional in here is unclear links, unclear buttons. So people with screen readers may see it's going to be a big problem for them. It's the same thing as well for the people and visual disabilities, lack of keyboard accessibility, missing the alternative contents, maybe unclear structure. This is a problem. Is the same thing as well for the low vision people, relying on the color contrast. So many animation and moving content making really annoying things. For the hearing and cognitive learning disabilities, maybe there's no closed caption or subtitles. Even in the high level, there's no sign language. So we need to understand what makes the web is accessible. We need to stick with this principle. First is the perceivable, operable, and then understandable, and the last one is robust. So perceivable means your website can be present in different ways. For example, in Braille, in text-to-speech, so it can be transformed to the other format. For example, if you have like content images, you need to add some alternative image, right? Because it's really important right now. And obviously for the hearing, you can also add the transcript, the subtitle, etc., something like that. The other thing is operable, meaningly your website should be functional, used in different modalities. For example, letter previously we see in keyboard accessibility, keyboard like accessible, mouse, zip and pop device, etc. Using the tab, something like this. Imagine if you have the slider, carousel, something like this. So user need to have more control in this thing area. So they need to move with the keyboard or with the mouse. Web animation. So avoid about the too many animation, because some people may have like sick motion, something. It's really just to avoid physical reaction. Just cause the seizure or physical reaction, especially for the old one, right? So too many animation is not that great. Navigable content. So make sure your website is have the information where the link that located right now the user, and you need to stick with that, the adaptable content. The last thing is understandable, means your website need to be use the simple language, understandable, to the point. The last one, robust, meaningly your website can access in different sites. So enough about the technical enough about the theory thing. So let's make more accessible in action, in technical way. In here I have some snippet codes in here. So previously I said the lack of keyboard accessibility, we can solve by adding some tab index to our components, to elements. But you need to be careful. Tab index is not always the right call, because sometimes if you had something like tab index 0 or minus, it's not good for the prime components. It's more good for the model component, because it's going to be blocking the elements, in the behind of the other components. Another thing is the normal or the common way is you just use the tab index 0. If you have more lot of tab index, you can add tab index like 1, 2, 3, and then etc. The focus order, you can add use the stat conditional right now in CSS, but mostly I believe in UI library right now is already handled by the UI library. So maybe you can leverage the UI. It's already handled by the developer. But if you want to add your custom CSS, you need to add the focus hover stat, something like this. In React or in other thing, you can also use the autofocus. The autofocus mean the problem that we see earlier is lack of the focus order. So autofocus is also great way to resolve the focusing order, the missing focusing order. In React, you can use the wrap and hooks. We can wrap it with the use wrap and the custom hooks. For that, to make it your input more focused. For the unquery structure, instead of we using all wrap with the dips, we can leverage and use the semantic ways. For example, if you want to show the navigation, use the navigation element. Don't use dip, too many dips. So it's going to be ambiguous section for the reader for the user with the screen reader. So we might wondering how the accessibility thing works in the back under the hood. So basically, in under the hood, it will transform into the DOM, and then the DOM will be transformed into the accessibility tree. If you see in the Chrome, if you just inspect, there's accessibility tree. You can just see for how the level of your component is going to be rendered. And then later on, it will be transformed to the user with the screen readers. Another things that you can approach if you building your custom components. For example, you had something toggle, checkbox, something like this. There's no native element or there's no pure element HTML to do that, right? We can leverage with the way area is to customize your component way to more native. For example, in here, I have a checkbox, so I will add some area check, role, and then ask the div to make sure the accessibility treat this component as checkbox. Instead of we have something like this, div, it will be later will be switched as a checkbox component. So that's we're not going to so much talking about the how to approach. We just want to see how to test the components and how to test the accessibility. We need to know to understand the tools that we need to use for that. The first one, we can audit you using the automatic tools, or you can use the manual check. For the automatic tool, you can leverage the lighthouse. You just see the score, something like that. You can use the wave, but if you instead use the manual check, you can see something like this. Install by yourself, DIY, to check the screen reader. To just uh, one by one, piece by piece by yourself. Other thing is you can use or leverage the accessibility insight for the web. Uh, and yeah, this is the great one. The X DevTools is going to be something like this. You can see this is my local project just to see the DevTools in Chrome extension. It will tells you what need to be improved, what the score, etc. And if you want to more customize it, advanced, you can also check this accessibility linter in your Visual Studio Code. So it's not getting more no skip for the accessibility attribute anymore if you to do that, because when you install this one, the accessibility part will be tell you if you're missing something, etc. Yeah, obviously, if you don't have enough research team, research budget, enough time, you can leverage the UI component library. It's already back and handled by the developers. The UI library is already experienced before. I work with the Spectrum, is the red one, is from Adobe. And then the Chakra UI, said GDN, something like that. The Material one, yeah. So yeah, this is the main course today. How we tested earlier, we test in the area of outside, like outside scope the application. Now we want to see how we see the inside scope of the application, how to test it. For example, in here, for testing button, instead of you using like class or ID, we can get to see by its role. You can just see the get by role and then tell the component itself. And then if you have bunch of button, you can do something like that as well. Get all by role. By the way, I use the testing library testing library component, or how do I say it? Testing library, library. And this is also if you trying to test it, the heading one, it's already covered, like heading level 1, level 2. Yeah, so forth and so on and so forth. If you're combining with those things with all the plugin that I mentioned earlier, so it's something like this. In Visual Code, it will tells you there's like missing attribute accessibility in your component. This is also the great tools as well, library for you to leverage the accessibility in your components if you're working with the React. And another thing, you can use the Cypress. Maybe I will live code. Let's see, test it out the component. You can inject combining with the Xcore in here. Let's see how it goes in live code. So I already have the library, the repository in here. So for example, I want to test in here. I have the features, component elements, something like this. Like I want to test the feature, elements, and then I want to see the test in navigation in here. Wait. Sorry. Something like this. So as you can see, it will run the testing. It will see the pass. And then if you see the scenario of the testing in here, Nav test. This is what I'm talking about. This is the get by role button. If you see in here in my nav component, if I try to change instead of nav in here, I will change to div. So yeah, if I run test again, it should be failed. See, because it will tells you it's a be render navigation, but in here we unable to find the role of navigation because I just changed the navigation into div. So yeah, later on you can leverage this get by role instead using by ID, by class. It's more inclusive, more accessible to the components. So I need to change back to the button, to the nav. If we see there's no test. Yeah. Another thing that really cool is in here is this library. This library, it tells you how to stimulate in a virtual in screen reader. This is really cool. So for example, I will test it in my project. I will see its spec. You can also use the npm install in here, but I will just try it for fast in the here. As you can see, it will tells you how the your website will be rendered in the screen reader as a visually. So the screen reader will tell you your website there as document, and then another element in here we have bunch of div and images, something like this. So yeah. Another thing that really cool is in here you can also use this JSX. What is X? X is the accessibility testing library. That's the leading one, I guess, right now. But if you want to have more, simpler way to implement, you can use the JSX. It's already been, combining with the JS. So, for example, in here, I will have to test the about page. So I will write about and test.js. So I will generate everything about. So wait. So for example, in here, it should be render no accessibility with no violation. We can just import the library. I called is the JSX. It will be something like this. JSX. Thank you, AI. And then to have no violation. Yep. To have no violation. We extend from the this one to have no violation. We going to check if there's no violation in our components. Let's test it out. So npm run test source views test. Test and then about dot test. As you can see, it's a B pass because I have no violation in my about. But if I change this one, for example, I don't have alternative content in here. It will be warning by the plugin that I mentioned before. But if you just force it, you can just run it, it will fail because it tells you the image must have authentic text. So in the testing, it will be running again and then it will be fail. the most interesting part is the other thing you can use is Cypress. Yeah, this is the Cypress. If you take a look, maybe I will close it. This one, I will run the Cypress. Have you guys heard or used Cypress before? How many of you? Okay, well, so yeah, for the Cypress, you can. It's more to the end-to-end testing. It's more on unit testing, but you can write the spec in here. As you can see, for example, we come back to the Visual Studio Code. We can import the Cypress X again. X is already like collaborating with other tools. In here, X collaborating with Cypress, earlier X collaborating with Jest. If you see, we can test like psit, the local host. I will need to run the server first, npm run start. Do we still have time? Okay, cool. Yeah, for example, let's see, we can check again in here. For example, I want to test this page about. Yeah, it will run the, oops. As you can see, it will we expected it to be, the image to be visible by searching the alternative text. It's going to be, pass, right? But if you want to combine with the testing library before, you can also use something like this. For example, in here, instead of using the alternative content, we can just use the image and find the React logo. Should be visible. Yeah, something like this. As you can see, it's also work as well. By the way, don't mention about the iframe. It's from the React query. Another thing is you can also test it about the button something. Wait, for example, yeah, you can also check the entire page if your page have like violation as well. It's the same thing like before, but it's using the Cypress. As you can see, we have problem in here. There's the alternative about in earlier, so I need to add the alternative. Okay, I don't know, it's still having problem. Yeah, anyways, but it's going to be checked the the accessibility part in here. If you check this function, check A11Y or LI. You can also like certain elements you want to check. You can also check the certain elements in here. You can test it by the navigation, or nav element, something like this, the image. We just want to like only the value is WCAG or something. This is the standardization for the accessibility. The section, I don't know, like too many to learn. If you want to learn more, you can just check the web accessibility guidelines in how the option, etc. So, what's all this thing? I mean, what is the benefits for all we doing all of this thing? Obviously, we doing accessibility. It will increasing the audience by making more inclusive, embracing the the disability community. It's getting better user experience, and in some case, it's also improving the SEO, search engine optimization. And the fourth one is going to be, yeah, it's really morally the right thing to do for us as a developer to make it digital more accessible for anyone. And some country, it's going to be potential like discrimination lawsuit in Europe, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. In Asia, it's still a really long way to discrimination, but I don't know. Maybe in next year, in several years, it's going to be, ruled by the community on the nation. So research more to learn. You can just check the web accessibility fundamentals. But if you just scan this barcode, it's too easy. It's more easier for you. Just scan this. Yeah. So in summary, accessibility isn't just about how you add the alternative text or add the tab index to the components, to the element. It's more than that. It's beyond that. The accessibility is really making sure the web, the content that you created is accessible to various environments or with various people, with diverse people. So once again, it's our role. It's not our responsibility. It's all for responsibility from the department, team business, maybe from the designer, from the technical, from the tech as well. So once again, web accessibility to making sure your web is benefiting everyone else. So yeah, that's pretty much it about my talk. Thank you very much. Maybe one last thing I have, like, do you quick me a favor? I need to selfie to send my boss.
Oh yes.
Can everyone say hi? All right, 1, 2, 3, and go. All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Raihan.
Thank you. Enjoy the conference.
Thank you. We have time for some questions.
Okay. We have the Q&A section?
We have 10 minutes.
Okay.
So, do you have any questions? Oh, yeah.
Hi, thank you for addressing this topic.
Thank you.
The features disabled, a book that I have not read yet because I failed to find it. We are living in times of cursor, copilot, by coding, etc., right? Have you tried to use these tools to make your HTML pages accessible? And if so, what was the outcome?
To leveraging with the AI things, right? With the copilot things, yeah. I do also I work all the time with the AI things. I subscribe to the Cursor, Premium, to the Copilot. If you see, there's a bunch of my AI here, my assistant, Clint. You can see the codecs. You can also see my Copilot in here. So I subscribe to all this. So my payroll is going to be like really for the chatbot, for the AI coding. But yeah, I see this really, like interesting. You can leverage the AI to do that. Obviously, to measure the accessibility is covered by the AI itself. But if I see there still need a human touch in there, because maybe the AI is not really that understanding how the human feel. We still need to be, really also jump into the specific cases, because sometimes the AI just wrong all the time. I heard the news that someone used the ChatGPT or something, Copilot is deleting their database production. If you heard about the news, yeah. But once again, the AI for the accessibility is going to be really amazing. But if you want to more see about that, I will bring another topic about the accessibility and the AI. Thank you very much for your talk, for the question.
Do we have more questions? Yeah.
Thank you for explanation.
Thank you.
Firstly, I'm a student in computer science. I have a small question because you can see I'm beginner in coding.
Okay.
So, do you think frameworks gonna convert HTML and CSS in the future, or should I just get the picture for them?
I think you can also like adjusting with your you need to also like you need to understand the first like what's the necessary in your product or in your project. Like really the accessibility is the crucial part, but I think again it should be the fundamental it every developers or in the beginners should be have. So the accessibility just the little step just add the alternative text alternative missing alternative content in your project if you don't have much about the what is it called the the complex features in your project etc. If you didn't have like enough time for that, you can just leverage the UI components that already exist. Then you can just adjust by yourself and then customize with your own self. For example, if you want to see I see this wait React Alley something if you're working with the React Spectrum something like that. Yeah, this is the good as well. This is the raw. It's more to the I don't know, like to the more to the low level component. It will work with all the your components. So, for example, button in here, the style is really just simple, something like this. You can just improve with your self, with your own idea. I think that's hope to it's resolve your question.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, one last quick question. Yeah.
Hey, I'm just curious, can you show back the slide of your GitHub and do you manage to your photo?
Oh yeah, the GitHub, right? GitHub part, this one. Yeah, if you want to learn more about the accessibility guide, I already put all the reference link in my repository. You can also feel free to add some references, to this repository. If you have further question, let's talk in the behind stage. I really hope to see more with you chatting with me to talk about the accessibility things in here. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Thank you, Raihan. Give a big round of applause to him.
Thank you very much.